to Live Online Training with myself, Mark Cartwright. Today we're going to really focus on share. This is kind of the fifth in the kind of series here. So obviously in the playlist you'll find the other ones as well. We did do this live on the 17th of June, so if you're catching it on the 18th of June, then hello, you just missed it. If you're catching it later on as well, then thanks for joining, and feel free to sign up and actually get these live and kind of really be part of the live series, and you can actually ask questions, anything like that, in real time. But also, if you have got any comments, feel free to put them on in the chat, into the comments below, and we'll get back to you. Or if you want to email me directly, I'll put my email address up now, I think, actually. It is markcartwright@smarttech.com. Former primary school teacher, just as a way of introducing myself. And this afternoon, I'd really like to bring my experience and my passion for the outcomes that it gave me, and to support you in whichever way you're using this as well, and sharing it, as we're all about today. So just as a brief overview for today, we're going to be looking at sharing. We're going to look at how to share with teachers, how to share with students, how to share with others, and of course how to share when you become a smart ambassador, or if you want to share and learn from other smart users as well for that as well. So starting with teachers, I'm using a piece of software here called Smart Notebook. It's a free download, go and use it. We're on version 21. It's definitely worth upgrading to the latest one. There's lots more features on 21 rather than in 20. And of course it's free to use, so why not? If you've got a notebook lesson here, you can use it, and there's lots of brilliant features within it itself. But actually, if you want to share that lesson with somebody else, how do you do that? So if I click on File here, what I can do is, surprise, surprise, click on Share. And I can share that. What that will do then is actually take this lesson and take it into my Smart account. So what I'm able to do here is actually click on Upload to Smart Account, and then it will take this notebook lesson and pop a version of it in the cloud, and then I can access that through my Smart account, through Smart Learning Suite Online, which is now called Lumio. And then I can access that, or I can obviously share that link to other teachers as well, and they can continue using it in Notebook, or of course put it into their Lumio account as well. There you go, let's get a share link, and then that link there can be text, can be sent to anybody however way you want, and you can then download it as a notebook, or of course pop it into your online account for the Lumio. And click done there, and then that is now in my online account. Very, very nice and easy to share. There's another way of kind of sharing Smart Notebook files as well, is the fact that I can actually save it. Surprise, surprise. And then once I've saved it here, it is part of one of these here. So once I've got these lessons here, I can then share them just as I share with any other file. You can see I've got other PowerPoints as well as Smart Notebook files, the blue ones are the Smart Notebook ones, and I can just share them to anybody else, whether that's through OneDrive, whether that's through G Drive, whether that's emailing them, or whichever way you want to actually send them like that, you can share them actually from within the computer itself, or just put it on a central drive if your school are using those as well. So if you wanted to save it that way, you can, or of course you can actually export it. I could export it to a PowerPoint. Of course, you can import from PowerPoint as well if you wish to use content and make it more of an interactive resource rather than something quite passive. You can actually export it to a PowerPoint. You could export it to a PDF, quite useful if you're trying to print it off. And you wanted it in kind of slide form, a bit like you print off a PowerPoint with like the 6 or the 9 or whatever it might be. Or even just as a whole page, you can print it as a whole page. Actually, just do that straight from print, but you could do an export there. Or if you wanted to export it as image file, so it just takes a picture of each page and send that one off, you can for that as well. So there's lots of different ways of sharing your actual notebook file itself from within here as well. To share from the online version as well, if I just jump into my online account here, and you can see this is what I did beforehand I started recording this, and if I click refresh, it will just refresh in this page here, and it would include the lesson that I've just uploaded from my Smart Notebook account, because I have shared it to my online version, to my Lumio account. Now in my Lumio account here, I have got my share lesson here, already and good to go within Lumio. And then here I can share link. Now I've clicked on these 3 little dots here, and if I wanted to share this link here, what this is going to do, this is going to create a link to my Smart Learning Suite Online or Lumio, whichever word, just change the name, the actual functionality is still the same. I can share this link here. Now this one here shares it as a teacher link, surprise, surprise, as it says teacher link, And now I'm sharing it as a teacher link. What it will do, it'll take this lesson and make a copy of it so I can put it in another teacher's Lumio account. They will just click on that link and then it'll be automatically put into their Smart account, into their Lumio account, so they can access it wherever they wish to as well. You can even access it straight from your board directly into the IQ unit, the Android unit, if that's linked to your Smart account as well. So you can share that lesson with other teachers in that way there. Then they can carry on using that resource. You can use their resources, save recreating everything over and over again, which is a good one. You can also share it with students. Now, the fact that I've copied this link here, I've now got a link to share it with the students. And if you've put any gamification in it, if you've put any assessments in it, if you've put any individual workspaces in it where students can come together, they can do their own work and give that feedback to you, you can write on those as well. You can have that link there and they can all have that lesson there. Because it is just a link, you can share it with the students the way you want to. Whether that is through Microsoft Teams and sharing it through a link there, or through Google Classroom, whether it's something like Class Dojo or Seesaw or Canvas or any of the other brilliant learning platforms, you can to do that as well. Of course, it's just a link, so you can even text it to parents if you want to do it in that way, if that's the way you're doing that's the way you're sending out homework. You could also, because it is a link, change it to a QR code. You could then display that QR code somewhere where the parents could easily see it, and they can scan it in, and they can take that lesson with them, take that homework with them, and it's easy access every single time that they are at the school gate or wherever they are accessing that QR code within that link as well. So lots of great ways to share it with teachers, some really good ways to share it with students as well, and that's sharing your whole lesson to look at either synchronously or asynchronously as well. If you wanted to share your lesson within Teams, you can see here that there is just a link to some of the lessons within Teams. I can post that whole lesson and then they can access that at a certain time and have that as part of their dialogue as they access through anything there as well. If you're doing it within Google Drive, you can see here is my lessons within Google Drive. And if I wanted to share it through just doing some classwork, I create a lesson, I can create an assignment, and then from in there as well, I can also just attach it from my Google Drive. And then it's just going to look into my Google Drive and see this lesson here. This is the computing lesson that I wanted to share. I click on that one and I can insert it. And now that Smart Learning Suite online lesson, including all the games and all the assessments and all the great smart stuff, is going to be part of that assignment that the students are going to have, that rich lesson rather than something more passive like a presentation. Great resource to have there. So, fantastic way of sharing it with teachers. Great way to share it with students. But what I'm just going to jump into now is a way that we can share it with students, but actually in the lesson now. I don't want to have to sign into my Google Drive. I don't want to have to do anything else. How can I quick and easy share something with my students? So if I am actually sharing within Lumio here, I can click start on that lesson, and now this lesson is live and is ready to share with my students. How can I join as a student? So I'm just going to open up a separate web browser here. And within this web browser here, I am going to go to hellosmart.com. So this is where you should have joined live, because then you can actually have this lesson and you can actually experience this two-way inking and all these games and stuff in that sort of side of things. But we're watching now, so hopefully you'll sign up and join us live for the next one. But if not, enjoy this and kind of get the gist of it. If you're a teacher, you're going to sign as a teacher. If the students have got their own Microsoft or Google logins, they can sign in through that way. But for now, I'm just going to sign in as a guest, as a student. So this will be then linked to my student, for my teachers, for my Smart account. So this code here is very much unique to me as a teacher, 162353. That is my teacher account. It's then going to ask for your name, so the students can put their own names in. I click go, sign as a guest. Obviously, to save them putting any old name in as well, then that's why you might sign in through your Microsoft or Google credentials. So this side here, I'm just going to now put as a student, and this one here as a teacher. So you can see automatically I have now I've signed in as a student. I am sharing that content with my class that are in front of me, either physically or remotely or wherever they might be there. So as I'm clicking next on here, they're going next for their content as well. If there are some key particular vocabulary in the objectives that I wanted to underline, any markings on, then that is going to appear up here. I'm sharing my understanding, I'm sharing my expertise with my class, which is kind of a key point to teaching. But what is really good is I can share other things as well. If I wanted to share a YouTube video, I can embed that within my Lumio lesson. I can make collaborative workspaces. So now I'm not sharing with them, they're sharing with me. And actually they're sharing with groups as well. If I just set this one up here, what it's going to give me to do, now I've only got one person signed in at the moment, but if I had multiple people, I could sign in multiple teams. So if I'm going to put everyone in one team, we're now all sharing together. Me with the students and students with me as well. We can all learn together. As I dare say, you've had multiple times when you've actually learned from your students as well. So if we're looking at layers in this particular part here, if a student is finding that layer here, the teacher can see that this particular layer was done by the Mark student. And again, I can annotate back onto this, let's go for a different colour. I can annotate finding that layer, and that is appearing for the students as well. We can collaborate together. And obviously I've got multiple groups, I can jump into the multiple groups as well. Just this next one here, this is more of a handout. So if I wanted to share with the students, but this time I wanted to share with just those individual students, or lots of individuals, the fact that this student here has started their work here. I have got a modelling facility there, but whatever the student does here, they can then share back with me with their work. And obviously the more students that are started, then the more are going to be appearing on here so they can see that content. So all of that is a fantastic way of sharing your whole lesson within Lumio, within the online version, Smart Learning Suite Online, as it was formerly called. And then they can have that content, and if it's stored within Google Drive or any other learning platform, then that can be done so as well. But also within that, if I want to share with the students within Smart Notebook, I can. And some of those great games I referred to beforehand, in Smart Notebook, there is part of this Space Invader thing there. And in Lumio, you can click on this activity here, and they're all within there as well. So you can add them to your lesson, you can bring lessons together so that you've got a fantastic resource which is exactly aimed at the needs of your students. But within Notebook, I've got this Space Invader at the top here. These little games. If you want to find out more about all these little games, there is a little magnifying glass. So as I click on that magnifying glass, it just gives me a bit of a preview of that lesson here. I'm just going to jump down and actually choose this rank order. So if I'm looking at making that layered picture, I'm going to want certain things within my layer. I might want the sky for one of them. I might want a hill. I might want a field. Let's have sheep and me. And I don't want to check it, because if I'm trying to do a layered picture, it's up to the individual to how I'm going to layer them in there as well. So I've got those there, click next. And now I've got all these different backgrounds to choose from. Now, previous versions of Smart Notebook, you won't have this customized version. In version 21, we've got this customized version here, which is fantastic. The fact that I can add any background to it as well. So if I'm looking at making a layered diagram, first of all, I'm going to change it around, so I want these on this side. And then I'm going to just add a background. I can add different things in, but this time I'm going to customize this background by doing a safe search here. So whatever content is going to be available, it's going to be completely appropriate for all of your learners. And then within here, I'm just going to type for, let's do field. Fields. Oops, wrong button. Cancel that one. There we go. So search. And we've got some options here. I'm just going to choose that one. Nice background. Previews it for me. Yeah, that's good. I can click finish. And then this is my game ready to go. Really, really quick and easy to make as a teacher. But now as I want to play this one, I can put this in any order so that I've got an idea of what my layered picture might be. But actually this little mobile device here, if I click there and click start, what that is going to do, let's just bring the student one back up as well. As I click start here, it's going to load, and there it is ready for the students to do it as well. So I'm now sharing parts of my lesson through those activities. Yes, I could have shared the lesson and I could have made these games within Lumio, but if I wanted it on device, on my using Smart Notebook, I can still share those different parts of the lessons as well. And then those students through Notebook can actually make their own idea of what they want for their layered diagram and go away and make it. Yes, of course, they can come up with their own ideas, but sometimes some students just need those initial ideas of how to layer it. And of course, they can change the order if they want to afterwards as well. So that's sharing that link, sharing that part of that lesson within Smart Notebook, as well as in Lumio itself as well. So if I wanted to share it with those different ways, I've got lots of different options. Of course, if I wanted to share it with the wider community as well, we have got Smart Exchange. Now, Smart Exchange, you can sign in, you can share resources, which is a fantastic way of you sharing, but obviously others share with you as well. And within here, there are lots and lots of different ways, lots of different lessons, even down from kind of handwriting paper, down to full lessons. And obviously, if you're bringing them into Notebook, that's fantastic. You can use them there. Or if you bring them into Lumio, you can use different parts of the lessons with it as well. Obviously, you can do that in Notebook as well. Whichever way you want to use these resources, they are there for you for free. Woohoo! Which is great, and there's a fantastic way of sharing. A lot of these lessons have been uploaded by Smart Exemplary Educators and by Smart Ambassadors. Smart Ambassadors, Smart Exemplary Educators was the kind of pre-version of Smart Ambassadors. So these Smart Ambassadors here that are fantastic educators from all over different parts of education. It's a really great place to come together and learn from each other, to share experiences, to ask for support, to learn more, to grow your professional learning network. And it's a really, really good place to be, this kind of badging, and there's lots and lots of different parts to be in there. If you search for Smart Ambassadors, Smart Technology Ambassadors, you'll be able to find it there. Or if you just leave a comment below, I can kind of send you a link and we can have a look in that way for that on there. So some really good links and some really good ways of learning within from within that community of the Smart Ambassadors there. So jumping down here, your challenge this week, if you want to share how you're sharing, share how you're using smart technology, how you're using any educational technology to support your learners, to support you in any context. If you use the hashtag #WeAreSmart, there's lots and lots on Twitter, but of course feel free to look at any other social media platform as well and share and learn from each other in that network. And there's just some quick links to kind of what Smart is called on the different platforms of learning together. So there were a few questions that popped up for this here, so I'm just going to cut out and answer any of those questions now.
So let me just click up on this one here. My Smartboard is not working properly. Sometimes it's interactive and sometimes it's not. That might be, now I'm going to guess here that what you might be having a problem with is you've got a projector and you've got an old Smartboard. If that is the case, it might just be that that board is getting towards its end of life, and it might just need to be looked at. It might just need recalibrating, and it might just be getting a bit old. If it is not the case, and it is a newer board and it's something you think that probably shouldn't be happening, then there are a few things. Firstly, a quick check of the board itself. Make sure the wires are connected, that you've got a USB, which is your touch, and that you've got your HDMI, which is the sound and the visual side of things as well. Make sure that they're good, strong connectings. Maybe a different wire might help. Maybe make sure that there's no loose bits, and make sure that that cable isn't too long. I'd recommend it not being too long as well. It's a new one. The wires are connected. I've just seen your comments, thank you. But there's no kind of loose wiring along those lines there. If you've tried the kind of usual troubleshooting, turning it off, turning it on again, it might be that there's a reset on the software as well. If you go into the board itself, this is through the IQ unit. If you click on settings down there, mine's just going to take a moment to load. Make sure you've got the latest version of the software, so you're all up to date with that as well. Where are we? Software update. I think I'm on, it won't tell me which version it is now, but you can check you on the latest version of the software, and that should keep you up to date with that. If the issue still persists and you've kind of tried the usual kind of troubleshooting things that you can think of, then if you go to Smart Support, they will help you with that. Or if you bought it through a reseller, then they'll be able to support you with that as well. My lead are both 10 meters long. Right, that will probably be the issue there. If you've got leads that are 10 meters long, they may not be able to take the touch fully that length. You will either need to have a shorter lead or some kind of power adapter, I can't remember the exact name off the top of my head, along the line for that to kind of boost that USB signal so that the touch is there. That would be, I would say I'm quite confident to say that that is the issue. So as a quick and easy try it with a shorter lead. I think they come with a 3 meter one. Try it with that one. I'm not sure if 3 meters is the limit or 5 meters the limit. I recommend trying it with a short one, 1 to 3 meters, and hopefully that issue should be fixed. And then if you're needing that 10 meter length for the positioning of the board, positioning of your computer, and then look at that in a different way as well. If that still doesn't work, contact Smart Support, contact your resellers or the person that installed it, or of course contact me and I can do some digging myself as well. But hopefully that has helped.
So hopefully you found those useful, both the questions and the answers. And if you want any more support looking at this, then please be in touch. Email address is there. Like I said, get in touch and we can support you, whether that's professional learning packages, looking at one-off sessions, or a support for across the whole year or multiple years, really actually embedding that educational technology and making a difference within your environment as well. So please be in touch for that as well. So thank you for joining us for this session here. Hopefully that's been useful, and please leave a comment and we'll get back to you, and it's just nice to kind of share together. So thanks very much. Goodbye.